Welcome to Nintendo Ninja News. I'm your host Chris Tysus, and we are here to talk about Animal Crossing New Horizons. Yes, I've heard all the news, all the negativity about, the one island, one game per console. A quick thing on that. Yes, I think it's not that great, but I think people will live with it. I think the majority of people won't care for it. But the hardcore Animal Crossing fans may be a little bit upset, but don't worry, they've already pre-ordered the Animal Crossing Switch edition, which means they'll have two Switches, and I'm sure that they will be picking up cheap second-hand Switch Lites in order to get around that sort of system. The second one is the issues about the game saves. Nintendo needs to fix it. That's actually one of the paid products that we are paying for in the Nintendo Switch Online stuff, so they have to fix that, because they are marketing this game to children, and you know what, children and technology, sometimes consoles break, and if you lose all your progress, people are not going to be happy. So I'm sure that Nintendo will make a fix out of it. If not, then the fan base will riot, and I'm sure that Nintendo will make those changes. But the main thing here for this one is the clickbait and fear about the possibility of microtransactions. Now, it's very interesting how a lot of the websites and YouTubers have jumped on it and they've gone, oh, this is some good clickbait content. Now, some of them have said, no, it's not that clickbaity, but we'll have a look into one person's video by Nintendo Prime. The host is called Nate. I'll be honest, his recent past has been a string of not really great decision making. He actually changed his name of his channel from Nintendo Prime to his own personal name, trying to expand it from Nintendo type content. I think he didn't mind losing a bunch of subscribers at first. Then he realized that not a lot of people could find his new videos and that his views have dropped. If you look at Social Braid, he's dropped from 500,000 views to 80,000. Now, he says he doesn't care about all that sort of stuff. Now, I'm just going to quickly look at his Twitter, because I actually did send a reply to him, and then he deleted it because I think I may have caught out something that he probably couldn't really disagree with. So, and he goes on to say, my favorite, actually, we might actually go off to Twitter and show it off itself later on. But basically he says, I'm not doing it for the money or anything like that. But the whole point is, being a YouTuber, you have a certain responsibility of not creating fear and panic in the fan bases that you're talking about. So let's go have a look at his video and see how wrong it is. All right, let's have a look at what this guy's got to say.
Like that one island per console, which is not, it's been done before, but we were hoping there might be optional, like you could turn it off and different accounts could have their own islands or whatever. And that stuff, it sucks, but it doesn't impact the core game. Like the core game,
right. He tends to muffle on a bit for the 10-minute mark.
Nintendo Life, but I did my own digging, and that is literally the only conclusion you can come to based on what is cropping up online. So here is what it says on Nintendo Life's article. It says, in the news about there being no cloud save support or an option to transfer your save data across to another system in Animal Crossing New Horizons wasn't already enough, Nintendo of America's official game page is now saying there'll be an in-game purchase within the last entry. In-game purchases should cover a lot of different things in this upcoming release, assuming this information is correct, which, it literally comes off the official website, so of course it is. It wouldn't be the first time the series has included paid content. The 2017 mobile title Animal Crossing Pocket Camp introduced microtransactions and eventually added a paid subscription service to celebrate its second-year anniversary. If it's not something along these lines, it could perhaps be tied to paid DLC or reference to the online service. Nintendo's rolled out extra content for a lot of... Now, I'm going to prove why that actually isn't a reference to DLC here. What do you make of this latest finding? All right, so here's the deal. What does this mean? First off, let's check out the official Animal Crossing page. So here it is, Animal Crossing New Horizons on Nintendo.com. Scroll down. There it is, in-game purchases. Now, they are saying that maybe this is just a reference to DLC. So let's go to a game on Switch, an exclusive game that has paid DLC but does not have any sort of in-game purchases. All right, there's not really any microtransactions. It's literally, there's just a paid DLC and that's it. Well, what game could we use for that? Splatoon 2. Splatoon 2 is a game that has a massive Octo expansion DLC pack you can buy for like $40 or whatever, but it does not have any minor purchases you can make inside the game itself. It's literally just that DLC pack and nothing else. Scroll down, just cartoon violence. Interesting, there's no in-game purchases. Now, if it was a reference to the Nintendo Switch Online service, you also need the online service for this game. And again...
Now, he says that, look, you know, it has download content and things like that, but it also means that the download content package was not made at the time of the release of Splatoon 2, right? There was no discussions about download content. Now, if there was discussions about that, then it probably would have been on the box. But I don't think this is really good enough evidence to suggest it.
It's not mentioned as an in-game purchase because the online service isn't about something in-game per se as an in-game purchase. It's just a service. Okay, so fine. What about other games with DLC packs that do not have... I mean, Splatoon 2 is just one-off. Well, how about Breath of the Wild? So here's the Switch version of Breath of the Wild. Has a big DLC pack, no other in-game purchases. Fantasy violence, mild suggestive themes, use of alcohol, absolutely no mention of in-game purchases. Now, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate as...
Well, that's another example of a game that did not have any download content, DLC content. There was no mention of it at the launch of it because it was made after the game was released and after the rating was given to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. So, and plus they don't change the ratings after a game is released. So that's a little bit unfair on the game. Now, if there was a download content package that you could buy from launch, then it would have been part of the rating. So that's how it sort of works. Now, I know that some companies do a bit of a switcheroo, such as the Crash Bandicoot Racing. Originally, they said they weren't going to have any microtransactions, and they stuffed a whole bunch of it in, I think a month or two later. So some companies do that, but for Breath of the Wild, that was not the case.
Mentioned, has DLC, has the Fighter Pass. But you know what else it has? Here's the in-game purchases part. It has individual costumes and skins you can buy for 75 cents, $1, etc. in the game. It has literal microtransactions inside Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. We cannot pretend that just because a Fighter Pass exists and just because a second Fighter Pass is going to exist, that the other things they're selling in addition to those Fighter Passes don't exist. There are microtransactions inside Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. It is something that has not been criticized enough of the game, but it is something that does exist.
Okay, so there is in-game purchases from it. It was rated from that. Now, it could either mean both, that it's saying the in-game purchases of download content or the microtransactions. Yes, the Mii costumes are download content, but they are very cheap, and it is cosmetic changes, right? It's not like you're paying individually for that. And yes, you can pay individually for the fighters. So you could say that that is microtransactions. They are additional fighters. And for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, there's literally like nearly 80 characters or more. So it's not like you're really missing out on a lot on the game at this point.
Yes, we're not talking about the DLC Fighter Passes. We're talking about those little amiibo costumes and things you can buy for very small amounts. I know it's very cheap, but they're still microtransactions. Let's not pretend they are something they're not. They are microtransactions for a cosmetic item inside the game. That is what happens in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. So of course it says in-game purchases because you can literally buy individual costumes inside the game. You are literally having microtransactions happen. Fire Emblem Three Houses, again, also says in-game purchases, and there are small, little tiny purchases you can make inside Fire Emblem Three Houses. In fact, you've been able to make that inside, I don't know, the last 3 Fire Emblem games or so. Pretty much since Awakening and on, they've had small little bits of pieces, not just big DLC packs, small little bits and pieces you can buy within the game. In fact, sometimes you run into a literal paywall inside the game to DLC, which is just crazy to me. Reminds me of Dragon Age Origins back in the day when you would like go all the way to the left of the map and then it would stop you and say, hey, look, you need to buy this to continue. It's like, oh, okay. So there's literally microtransactions inside Fire Emblem 3 Houses. Let's go to another game that has online play, no DLC. just to prove that it isn't the Nintendo Switch Online service that it's talking about. Super Mario Maker 2 has no paid DLC, has no microtransactions, at least right now. And if you scroll down, there is no mention of in-game purchases, which just completely eliminates the Nintendo Switch Online service. So hopefully you've noticed here, as we've eliminated the possibility that in-game purchases from Nintendo means Nintendo Switch
Alright,
Online
let's skip
service
along because
of Animal
he
Crossing.
likes to make his
They
videos
have
10 minutes.
Loot boxes. They have fortune cookies
the ad
that
revenue.
you could purchase with leaf tickets that you could purchase with real money. You can earn some in-game as well, but let's just be honest. Kind of like the gacha mechanics in Fire Emblem, heroes on your phone. If you really want to take advantage of the gacha mechanics, you're going to be spending money. Same with the fortune cookies. You want to take advantage of the fortune cookies, you're going to be spending money. It's a loot box. So they put loot boxes in Pocket Camp, and they put microtransactions, like small little purchases you can make.
So he's basically, I think part of his argument is about, if it happens to Pocket Camp and, this is a test run to see how well we do in New Horizons, then they're going to put microtransactions in it. Now, there is still a possibility that microtransactions may get into New Horizons. But I think that a lot of YouTubers and a lot of people jump to conclusions really quick and easy when they see something like this and they go, oh, this is a really good topic to talk about. Let's go and spread a little bit of panic. Now, we don't know. This is the thing. And my answers are normally pretty boring and pretty sane. And normally I say, wait for Nintendo to officially announce something. And I think people are getting upset because we're still waiting for that Nintendo Direct. There's been a lack of information about Animal Crossing and all that sort of thing. And even the Nintendo Life article says that, look, it could be download content, it could be referencing the Nintendo Switch Online service, it could be referencing individual microtransaction pieces. And the true answer is that we don't even know. We just don't know until the game is released or when reviewers start to get their hands on it. And then they can start digesting the news and spreading into people saying that, hey, yeah, there's going to be microtransactions or there's going to be download content in the future. Now, it could also mean maybe some sort of interaction with Pocket Camp and, sending stuff from Pocket Camp to New Horizons. And that definitely does have microtransactions and a monthly pass now that they've just released, which I think is crappy, but they're mobile phone games. I'm not surprised about it. And that sort of thing. Let's keep going on with this.
Camp and all this for cosmetic items. Because that's what Animal Crossing is. Animal Crossing is a game about doing little minor chores and this and that to earn little fake currency for cosmetics or to get rewarded with cosmetic items, right? This is a game kind of like The Sims built around cosmetics. And it has been ripe for microtransactions since microtransactions blew up in pretty much every game in existence in the AAA space. They pretty much all have microtransactions, save Nintendo games. Now, Nintendo, again, has it in Smash, which people excuse because there's so much content in Smash, who cares? It has it in Fire Emblem, and it's actually been a major complaint about Fire Emblem over the years is how the microtransactions have been handled in that. But people usually dismiss it because the game is high quality. But then it didn't happen in like Super Mario Odyssey, which had hundreds of costumes and could have easily charged for some of them, and they didn't. So people were like, well, Nintendo's not really going all in. It's just a couple teams that are doing things. And here we have Animal Crossing having microtransactions pretty much confirmed at this point. And we're left wondering.
It's not confirmed, buddy. Don't do that. Don't just look at one thing and just go, oh, must be that. That is some Super Metal Dave 64 type detective work where you see a little bit of a hint of something and you go, oh, must be that. The butler must have killed the owner of the mansion. That sort of jumping to conclusions and thinking about that. So you gotta have an open mind about these things. It could be a range of possibilities, and we don't have all the information on the table to know if it's microtransactions or it's download content or something to do with another game, like the mobile phone game could have some sort of interaction type thing. We just don't know. That's the thing. It's all speculation. But people love to turn speculation into some sort of, they won't 100% say, but they'll say, oh, it's 90% what I think is going to happen. But I don't think it's pretty much is. We just don't know until we have the official news.
How bad is it going to be? This is a game about cosmetic items. It is ripe for any sort of abusive mechanics they want to use, whether it's selling individual cosmetic items, even updated items over time, or if it's just about, well, I don't know, loot boxes, some sort of fortune cookie system or whatever, just taken directly out of Pocket Camp if they want to. I almost wonder if Pocket Camp was an experimental ground for this game, where they're going to sell millions upon millions upon millions of copies of the main game and then make extra millions of them.
I did make that note earlier in this video, but you know, if you look at the sales of Nintendo's mobile phone games, I probably wouldn't be stuffing too many microtransactions or any at all into New Horizons, because the sales have been pretty poor. Surprisingly, Nintendo fans are not biting, unless you're a Fire Emblem fan, because that's made something like $800 million because they're suckers, and they've probably bought a lot of characters and the pass and things like that. That's the only game that's really sold well. All the others have not sold very well. Super Mario Run was a bomb. The Animal Crossing game was a bomb. The other mobile phone games that I can't even think of at the moment, that's how good they were, because I can't even remember them. Sales-wise, they didn't do so well. So why would you take a failed business concept and just start shoving it into your main games? Because that's how you lose fans and that's how you lose sales for your main console. Remember, Nintendo, you only got the Nintendo Switch now. Your 3DS is pretty much out in the pastures with, you know, the Wii, the Wii U, and all the other retro consoles. So it wouldn't be a great idea to do something that hasn't worked on mobile phones and put it into your main video games.
Dollars on top by having microtransactions from the most hardcore fans that are going to sink thousands and thousands of hours into this game. And honestly, it's disappointing. It's expected. Let's go to it's expected, because everyone in the industry is doing it. Every major AAA game that comes out from like Microsoft and Sony and EA and Ubisoft and Activision and 2K, they all really have microtransaction systems involved somewhere, in some way. Some are worse than others. Some are loot boxes, some are not. But they all have it, and Nintendo has been kind of that last bastion of major publishers and developers that haven't really fully engrossed microtransactions into all their games. And yet, here's a game that honestly is the most ripe game they have for microtransactions, because it's so based on cosmetics. And now they're doing it. We don't know how bad it's going to be, so I can't sit here and complain about how bad the microtransactions are, but we can complain that they exist. And it does bring...
We don't know if they exist or not. It could just be download content packs, you know, a pack of 50 items, or access to a special tiny island, or a couple stores or something like that. It's all just speculation at this point. And hey, if they put in some microtransactions, then, you know, then I'm wrong. But I think the whole jumping into conclusions thing is what gets me upset about a lot of YouTubers at this point. So let's have a look towards the end of his video when he starts to really get doom and gloomy about the business future. You know what, Bugger, I'm not going to keep watching this guy's video on Nintendo Prime with Nate. Because he purposely makes 10-minute videos. Like, seriously, I could have made the exact same video and done it in 3 minutes instead of 10 minutes, but he does it for the ad revenue. You know, 10 minutes and 20 seconds, you know, so you can shove a few more ads in there. I'm not going to be supporting that type of thing. If you can make a news article that is much shorter, and just, instead of just reading off a news article in every video, then, you know, do it proper next time. But at the end of this video, he starts getting into more doom and gloom territory, talking about, oh, what about Mario Kart 9? Ooh, they could microtransaction the characters and the carts and the little bikes and everything about it. And he starts sort of veering off in this direction of doom and gloom type stuff. Now, I'm going to look at his Twitter, because apparently he did not delete my comment, as this is all semi-live, folks. On his Twitter, he sort of talks about he says, my favorite part about putting out a video I know many will disagree with and stir the pot is how many people think I'm doing it out of desperation or some sort of clickbait agenda rather than general belief in something. If I'm wrong, and I'll own it, as I have done so in the past. Yes, unfortunately, he has not made the best decisions in the past year or so. You win some, you lose some, and I learn from myself no matter which ways go. Well, normally, if you learn from mistakes, you don't keep making them, but okay. He's not desperate. I'm not desperate for clicks, subs, or money. YouTube is no longer a job for me per se. It's something I do for fun, and I make videos I want to make. There's no agenda here. If you don't like my content, that's fine. If you do disagree, da-da-da. And that's fine. That's okay. And I say that, look, you're jumping to conclusions with little facts. That's why people are upset with you. It could just mean download content, but you went for the full doom and gloom in that video. Let's be honest, your decision making hasn't been great for your channel for the past year or so. He says, I didn't go all in on doom and gloom. In the video, I even said they could end up not being that bad. I don't think it's wrong to be worried about stuff. I feel fine. I feel fine with what I'm doing with the channel currently. Not everything will always click. To be honest, I would probably not be really happy with the way that his channel is going. I know this sounds like a really hard sort of sledge towards him, but that's my honest take on it. Now, why would he say he's not going doom and gloom? If you see the video and he starts talking about, well, Mario Kart 9 could have these things, or these other games could have it. Yes, Animal Crossing is ripe for that type of content, but it doesn't mean... I mean, yes, you can be worried about the potential for microtransactions, but a lot of websites and him stir the pot really hard. And he's even presenting it mainly as fact. He's saying that, yep, I think it's going to happen. Microtransactions are coming, that sort of thing. And there's going to be some gullible people out there who will take his word for it, and many other people online. Now, for me personally... I would say that there is a small chance of microtransactions happening, but don't just take my word from it. This is why I say, even with my game reviews and other stuff, don't just watch my game review. Watch a whole bunch of different content and get a more of a full scope of what a game is or what a news piece is, because I'm just only one person, right? I could be wrong about something. And when you do your own research and not just watch my videos, but other people's videos and news articles, you can get a better picture of how things are. So don't just take my word as gospel, right? I may be wrong about stuff, and I have been in the past. And I've said that, hey, I could be wrong about this, or I don't know what's going to happen in the future, because I'm not going to sit here and just sort of bullshit to you and say that, hey, well, microtransactions will definitely happen in Animal Crossing. I could be 5% wrong, but, I'm going to basically tell you it's going to happen. But the bottom line for Animal Crossing New Horizons is that all it says is in-game purchases, and that's all we know. We don't know if it's download content. We don't know if it's in-game purchases. It could mean something else. But at the moment, that's all the information we have, and that's all we know. So let's not panic so far. I'm sure that the vast majority of Animal Crossing will be all free content. Once you buy the game, it's yours, and the majority of the content will be fine for you. I'm sure that they will not start stuffing Pocket Camp into Animal Crossing New Horizons, because if you look at the business model and how much money they've made a bit of coin, but probably not as much money as they would hope it to be. And I would say that quite a few Animal Crossing fans are not big fans of Pocket Camp. I say when New Horizons comes, a lot of people will drop Pocket Camp and move over to that, because it's sort of been the game that you play while you wait for the actual real game to come out. So that's all I've got to say on the matter, because I've spoken far too long. I've ranted too much, but it's not my fault that people make long videos, where they could say it in about 3 minutes. So that ain't my fault. So that is it for me, and I shall see you later on.